Am I the asshole for giving my daughter a stuffed bear filled with human hair? So my 33 male, wife, 31 female, and I just had our daughter, our first child, 3 months ago. My family has a tradition where the firstborn will get a special stuffed animal. I got one from my mother when I was born, who got one from her mother, who got one from her father, and so on and so on. The reason that it's special is because the stuffing is made from their parents' hair. The way it works is that once a child is old enough to start getting their hair cut, the parents will save as much of that hair as they can. When the child becomes a parent themselves, the new grandparent will use the saved hair to make a stuffed animal to give the baby. The hair in the toy represents the new parent's connection to the child and is a tangible measure that shows that they'll always be close by. The care taken by the new grandparent in collecting the hair and using it to make the toy represents the child's connection to its family history and is a tangible measure that shows the extended family will always support them. In short, the stuffed animal is a way of connecting the new life to their new family. After my daughter was born, my mother spent a lot of time making a stuffed bear from scratch to fill with my childhood hair. She just finished last week. Since my leave from work is just about over, I was excited to give my daughter the bear to share the tradition with my wife. I thought she would think it was sweet, but she blew up at me. Instead of liking the bear, my wife said it was gross and disgusting and that she wouldn't have it around her daughter. I told her that it's our daughter, not hers, and that there is nothing disgusting about my family's tradition. She said it was unhygienic. I told her that it's not. The hair is clean and well preserved. We argued, and eventually she said that if I ever put that thing near her daughter, that she would throw it in the trash. I was shocked. This is something that represents decades of my mother's work and planning and generations of my family's history. I told my wife that if she is so cruel and callous about something that means so much to me and my family, then she's not the person I thought she was. She just called my family's tradition weird and culty. I didn't know what to do. I didn't think my wife was this kind of person. I told my mother about the fight, and now she's feuding with my wife too. My wife then got her family involved before calling me some vulgar names. But am I really an asshole for wanting to give my special girl her special bear? No assholes here. Because I understand this is emotionally meaningful to you, but it's also, fairly objectively, pretty frickin' weird. I really need to know the origins of this tradition and how generations of spouses just let this persist and fester. Edit, gonna take a bag of pubes to build a bear tomorrow to make something nice for the wife. Everyone sucks here. You can't surprise your partner with family traditions, especially one where you give a baby a wad of dead hair. I don't know how this family tradition never came up in a conversation through their courtship or pregnancy. I'm pretty sure everyone in his family knows not to mention the tradition while they are just courting. Wait until the baby comes, then they can't get away. Lol, it honestly sounds like the rough plot of a horror film. Not the asshole. I do think you should have let your wife know about the tradition beforehand, though, to save this sort of argument. But I do think the aggression and name-calling is unnecessary. It's not unhygienic, just unusual. Right? I don't get what's so weird and culty about it. My parents gave me a hacky sack filled with my dad's baby teeth. What, really? Both seem really weird to me, just weird, not assholey. I would say everyone sucks here. It's bizarre, sure, but if made right, not harmful. Wait, so the snow globe filled with my mum's old dandruff is weird too? I'm questioning my whole life now. Info. Has this really not come up beforehand? OP says, no it hasn't. I lost my stuffed animal when I was moving around college, and since there had been no reason to bring it up before my wife was pregnant, I wanted the tradition to be a nice surprise. Wait, so this tradition is so important, but you carelessly lost your super important years of your grandmother's hard work teddy, and then it never came up again. I think you might be overstating how important this tradition is out of defensiveness, because you know it's weird. Imagine the poor soul who found his hair bear. The bear is definitely haunting someone's closet right now. Am I the asshole for imposing my culture, even though I thought I was just being nice? So even though I, 23 female, am American, my parents are immigrants, and therefore I have a different cultural upbringing than most. One thing that was hammered into my head from a young age was to always bring a small gift when visiting anyone's house. It doesn't matter if it's family or friends, or that one person you kind of know but don't really like, bringing something is a must. My boyfriend, 28 male, and I have been dating for almost 4 years now, and since we both work from home, he suggested we make dinner with his parents a weekly thing since we haven't been able to see each other for obvious reasons. I love his parents, so obviously I agreed. Every week I make sure to bring something small to show my appreciation for them cooking for us, always using my own money. A small bottle of wine, their favorite dessert, some flowers, etc., and they always thanked me for it. This has been going on for a few months, and absolutely didn't notice anything out of the ordinary until yesterday when my boyfriend and I were preparing to head over. I got a cute vase of daffodils since luckily I'd found some in bloom, and my boyfriend's mom really loves them. But my boyfriend suddenly got really mad and asked why I kept bringing stuff over every week like his parents were a charity case. Honestly, I got super confused and asked him what the problem was and that I've always done this with everyone, including his friends, since we met. That it was a cultural thing. But then he got even madder and told me to stop imposing my culture on everyone, and it's weird since I'm white. At that point, I didn't feel like going anywhere with him and just gave him the flowers and went for a walk while he drove over to dinner by himself. After he came home, he still had the flowers, which he gave to me, and told me he was sorry, but his parents were really super annoyed with me constantly bringing stuff over, like they can't take care of themselves. And later on, I got a text from his dad asking me to not come over for dinner anymore. Now my boyfriend's giving me the cold shoulder unless I give his parents a huge apology. But I really, truly don't feel like I'm in the wrong for trying to be nice to them. Am I the asshole? His dad texted you? The father of a nearly 30-year-old man texted you to tell you that you are no longer welcome at their home because of basically host gifts? No, not the asshole. This dude and his family suck. OP replies, well, he didn't say anything about the gifts, just not to come over for dinner. My boyfriend told me they rejected the flowers and told him to tell me that, which made me sad. I wouldn't really trust your boyfriend on what he is saying. Maybe talk to his parents directly, because your boyfriend may have told them something that would make them act like this around you. OP says, I'm overwhelmed right now. Why would he lie? He's never done anything like this before, and even helped me pick out a few gifts a few times. He would lie because in his mind, he concocted a whole untrue situation and wants someone to validate it. I'm not sure where he pulled this narrative out of, but it sounds like he has let it fester. It is just too coincidental that he blew up on you about the gift, and then suddenly his parents are upset when no one had said anything before. It really does point to him spreading the false narrative to make his point sound real. And OP says, he's refusing to answer any of my questions now, and threw the flowers out. Now I'm just getting mad. I have no idea where this sudden change in behavior came from, but I'm going to make him sit down with me and have a talk about why all of this is happening all of a sudden. To be honest, if I was you, I would have directly called his parents and communicated with them what your intention was and how this was your culture. I don't know. I'm getting this weird feeling that he lied to your parents about you, and hence his dad asked you not to come back. I think this issue is bigger than gifting. Are you Eastern European? My family is Latvian, and I so get this. Not the arsehole. Sounds like there may be bigger problems than just gift giving, and since he's throwing around a charity case, maybe he said something to them. How is the rest of the relationship? One thing I want to note, however, many Americans, even the white ones, grew up with immigrant parents. That is not unique. It's what made America. It's how I was raised and many of my friends. And OP replies, I'm Caribbean, but thank you. I 100% agree with you on the immigrants part, but where I live in the US, there are very few immigrant families here, so I did have a hard time growing up. The rest of the relationship is fine. It's part of why I was shocked when he had a sudden outburst like that. I don't know what part of the States you're in, but I'm from the South and about as white bread American as you can get. It has always been drummed into my head that you never show up somewhere empty-handed. Either something else is going on, or as folks from my neck of the woods say, they ain't got no home training. And OP provides sort of an update in a comment and says, I'm feeling extremely overwhelmed right now and just making a quick comment because all of you are being so nice. Sat my boyfriend down after dragging him off his game and grilled him about what was happening, but he said I was being crazy when I started all this and had just let us write a text to his parents apologizing. I said no, and that we would go over to apologize, but he started freaking out, which was the final straw. He's doing everything to get me to stay home, but I'm going over and sorting this out since I tried calling anyway, but the number's out of order? Some more responses before I leave. I'm so sorry I can't answer everyone. My parents are from the Caribbean, and he's very American, but he and his family have never been racist or anything before. They are actually much more well off than me, and my gifts are never expensive, since I pay for them on my own, which is why I am now very suspicious of them behaving this way. The reason that only the dad texted me is because his parents aren't super tech-savvy and share a simple phone that he picked out for them. I know there's a bit of an age gap, but I pursued the relationship myself because he asked me out casually at work as a frequent customer, and I accepted. Ooh, buddy. He's hiding a doozy of a lie, and you are very close to unraveling it. Trust your instincts and talk to his parents directly. Do not let him convince you that you are crazy and need to do things his way. Am I the asshole for locking our bedroom from the inside after my husband locked me in from the outside? So our bedroom has 2 locks. The regular key lock on both sides, and a barrel bolt inside only. We had an unexpected and unwelcome late-night guest, my husband's friend. I wanted to kick him out, but my husband said he needed to speak to him for 5 minutes about something important. I told him to take him elsewhere and not inside the house. He kept insisting that it would be just 5 minutes and asked me to wait in our room. I said no, and I was going to go and ask the friend to leave, but my husband ended up locking me inside of our bedroom. I was really angry, and I told him to let me out, but he left after telling me he would only be 5 minutes. He never came back after 5 minutes, and I was getting angrier every second. Over an hour later, I decided to just go to sleep and I locked the door with a barrel bolt. I fell asleep before he came back, and when he did, he was knocking and telling me to open the door. I did wake up, but I ignored him. He knows I'm a light sleeper, and so in the morning we had a fight over it, and he was angry since I ruined his usual routine, as he had to wait over 2 hours for me to wake up and unlock the door to get his things. Am I the asshole? I might be the asshole, as I locked our bedroom door from the inside, which meant that he had to sleep in the guest bedroom and didn't have access to his clothes, etc., as I wake up later than him, which ruined his usual routine. Not the asshole. Boo-hoo, you ruined his routine? He locked you inside a room for an hour with no explanation. Who the F disrespects their partner and takes away their bodily autonomy like that? He is literally treating you like a child who needs to be punished. OP, I'm sorry that happened to you. It sounds like a terrible experience. He locked you in your bedroom in order to talk to his friend. What kind of discussion requires locking your spouse away in a room in the middle of the night? There is some shady crap going on here. You would do well to determine what your husband is into. Not the asshole, but what do they talk about, and why were you so profoundly against the friend coming in for a quick chat? OP replies, that friend bullied my best friend into an abortion which has destroyed and devastated her. And your husband is still friends with someone like that? Reproductive coercion is serious crap. I would not be friends with anyone who had done it. Your husband is someone who tolerates abusive behavior and has shown the potential to be abusive himself. I'd start seriously considering divorce if I were you. OP, this whole situation sounds really dysfunctional. Are you happy with your partner? Is this whole door-locking event a one-off, or has he done things like this before? OP says, yes, this was a one-off. He hasn't done things like this before. I think you need to consider how he behaves in your relationship in general. Are there other times when he's told you what to do or put you in a situation you're uncomfortable with? Forced you to be around someone who upset you? Please proceed with caution. Behavior like this can escalate. It could be that he had a moment of madness and behaved terribly, but is usually lovely. However, based on all the information in your post, I'm concerned for your emotional and physical safety. Please do be careful and keep your eye out for red flags or worrying signs. Do you have friends that you talk to about him? OP didn't answer this question and provides no update, so we're gonna have to move on from this one, unfortunately. Am I the asshole for punishing my stepdaughter after she refused to remove the family framed photos that she put all over my house? I, male 37, have been with my wife for 2 years. I have a stepdaughter, Nancy. She's 16 and she's difficult, so difficult to deal with. She generally has little to no respect for me. She'd respond to me saying, "What do you want, weirdo?" Or, "I'd do this or that once you divorce mom and leave us alone." Honestly, I don't know what her effing problem is, and I don't care at this point. I still, however, expect her to respect me and my home and my boundaries. Lately, I started seeing framed photos of her, her mum, and her dad being distributed around the house, like the living room shelf or the kitchen counter. I brought it up with her, and her first thought was, jealous much? Does it serve as a constant reminder of the fact that you broke this family up? I have to admit, this pissed me off beyond measure. I told her to remove them because I didn't agree on having them around in my house, specifically not her dad. She acted nonchalantly about my request and basically ignored me. I warned her that I'd remove them myself, and she blew up at me, saying this is her family, this is a part of her life, and I should respect that. I reminded her this is my home, and she should have some respect and stop leaving pictures of her happy family around, period. I encouraged her to take them to her dad's house instead. That would be more appropriate in my opinion. She kept arguing, then walked out while mumbling under her breath, "Mother effer." I ended up punishing her, and then getting my wife to remove the photos. My wife kept asking me to let the punishment go since the photos are no longer there, but I refused because Nancy hurt my feelings and disrespected me in my own home. She must have told her grandparents, who came after me even on social media crying abuse and mistreatment, and my wife has been acting like I started this and that I'm the one at fault or the one who deliberately was looking for a fight. You're the asshole. Honestly, I don't know what her freaking problem is, and at this point I don't care. You're the adult, and you clearly don't want a relationship with your stepdaughter. Don't marry someone with a kid if this is your attitude. My house, my home? So does Nancy not live here, or... My wife kept asking me to let the punishment go since the photos are no longer there, but I refused because Nancy hurt my feelings and disrespected me in my own home. Again, my home. It's clear from your language that you see Nancy as an irritation and not a part of your life. Also, she hurt your feelings? Boo stinkin' who? Her whole life has been uprooted this last 2 years. Info. Did you have an affair with your wife while she was in a relationship with the kid's father? OP says, no. Only started dating months after the divorce. That's all. So, you may not read this, but I'd like to help. I work in mental health with kids and primarily teenagers. This is how she is saying she is upset. Her problem is that in a short amount of time, everything in her life changed. Basically, to her, her family was ruined. She loves her mum and dad too much to express that anger out on them, but you are the most visible change. I'm betting the worst part for her is the pretending it's okay. She's just supposed to be okay with this new guy and new life that she didn't pick when she was just figuring out how life works in general, so of course she's gonna poke you. It's teenagers. But you are falling perfectly into the trap. It's working well. Even the way you speak of her is full of disdain and without an ounce of compassion. I understand teenagers and how they get frustrated. I really do. I've weathered quite a few physical attacks, but getting angry and offended clouds your judgment. Let's really look at what you should have and still can do. Offer the pictures back. Who does it hurt? Your ego cannot be so small that seeing your wife's ex is that huge of a deal. It's a photo. Take her power away and offer them back. Offer different frames if it's not working with the decor. Almost no one cares about photos, and it is so temporary. Make her feel like she won that. Tell her you overreacted because you felt she did it out of disrespect, and she will probably come back with some quip. F you didn't respect my parents' marriage, etc., etc. That's okay. You didn't even hear her say that, and you keep going. Tell her it must really suck, and after this, you can see that she is closer to an adult than a child, and she obviously has a great dad. You have no interest in being a father toward her, but it would be cool to be friends. Let mum and dad punish. She's not a child to you, and she isn't going to listen. Plus, you were disrespectful towards her. Your post just oozes disdain. People pick up on that. And here is where I'll be downvoted. You're the asshole. You were treating a child like an adult and then getting mad. With kids, there is no flipping out about things. You gotta relax and can't command respect until you've given it first. Alright, and that's where I'm gonna end today's episode, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below, smack that like button, and have a wonderful day. See you later. Bye.